All right, in this video, you are going to learn about protein intake and where it should be to optimize your muscle building in ketosis. And yes, you can build muscle in ketosis, and you just need to follow this protocol to keep you in ketosis and to prevent you from losing muscle. So here we go. Your protein sources should be organic and grass-fed. And that, goes without saying, because if it's not organic and grass-fed, it has preservatives, it has steroids, it has things that's going to wreak havoc on your body, on your systems. It's going to cause inflammation, and inflammation is the root of all evil. So stay away from anything that's not grass-fed and organic. Also, whey protein shakes. Nothing wrong with them if they are isolate, whey protein isolate. Do not just get the whey protein if it's not isolate. Isolate absorbs quicker, it's better for you, and it can cause less of an insulin spike. Now, protein is insulinogenic. It causes an insulin spike, just like carbs do, not as high as some carbs, but it's still pretty high. Now, there is ways around that. And that's why I recommend that you eat fattier meats. And fattier meats are better because they help to keep that insulin spike from the protein low. So ribeye, for example, is a wonderful fatty meat that you can eat that's not going to spike your insulin as high as, say, chicken would, because chicken is more low fat. So is turkey. Turkey's a lower fat meat. So what do? Do you not eat chicken? Do you not eat turkey? No, I'm not saying that. All you need to do to keep the insulin spike low is add some butter. Add some pure grass-fed butter or coconut oil or some type of good fat to the meat to keep the insulin spike low. That's what you want to do to keep your body in that fat-burning state of ketosis. Now, will too much protein kick you out of ketosis? And the answer is yes, it will. And, before I got into all this stuff, I would, when I was trying to build muscle for football, I would be slamming 350 grams of protein a day because that's what the bodybuilders on bodybuilding.com were telling me to do to optimize muscle mass. And that's just, you don't need that. You don't need that much protein to build muscle. I don't care what anybody says, you don't need that much protein. And once I started studying the science behind it all and how much you actually need, my mind was just blown. I just had no idea that you could get away eating this little amount of protein and still build lean muscle mass. So the optimal range, the optimal range of protein that I want you to be in is 0.63 to 0.80 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Okay, so you're going to take your body weight and you are going to multiply it by 0.63, and then I also want you to multiply it by 0.80. And every day I want you to try to shoot somewhere in between those two numbers. So for me, I'm 200 pounds, okay? My protein intake should be anywhere between 140 and like 165-ish. That's where I aim. And the reason for this is there's something called a nitrogen balance. So you either have a positive nitrogen balance or a negative one. And if you have a positive one, you are building muscle. If you have a negative one, then you are losing muscle. You do not want to lose muscle, you want to build muscle. And that's the key range to be in. Now, you can actually go all the way up to 1 pound per gram of body weight. So I could be eating 200 grams of protein and still probably be okay and not be kicked out of ketosis. Now, I would only recommend that if you're seriously trying to put on massive size and you're not trying to burn fat as fast. That's when I would recommend that. But honestly, you can still build the same amount of muscle with 0.80 grams of protein to if you do that compared to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So you can build the same amount of muscle, and it's all because of this nitrogen balance that I learned about that totally changed my outlook on protein and how much I need to build lean muscle mass. And guys, also limit dairy. Dairy can cause a lot of inflammation. It can cause some issues with your gut, and you can still have dairy, but just limit it. Okay, keep it at a small volume. And milk has a ton of carbs, so try to stay away from that. You can have some cottage cheese now and then. You can have some Greek yogurt. I like the high-fat Greek yogurts. They are okay. But the reason why, I didn't get into this yet, the reason why too much protein kicks you out of ketosis is this process of gluconeogenesis. Okay, gluconeogenesis, I know it sounds like a planet or something, but gluconeogenesis is when your liver makes glucose from proteins and amino acids. So, you're not getting the carbs, you're not getting the sugar and the starches, you're not getting the glucose in your system, so your body says, okay, we don't have the glucose, but we have an excess of protein. I weigh 200 pounds and I ate 300 grams of protein. We have an excess of protein, so your liver says, oh, okay, I can just make glucose from the protein with this process of gluconeogenesis. And that will kick you out of ketosis. And people don't realize that. They think, oh, they can eat all the protein they want, all the meat they want, and still be in ketosis. That's not the case. And this is the magic ratio, guys. The magic ratio you need to be in. 0.63 to 0.80 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So do those calculations, get those numbers. That's where you want to be. I recommend, below 1 and above the 0.63 because that's been scientifically proven to make people have a positive nitrogen balance so that you continue to keep your muscle or even build muscle while you're shredding up and burning this fat off as fast as possible. So guys, that is the lowdown on protein. That's what I recommend. If you have any questions, hit me up on my Facebook Lives, comment, shoot me an email, and I'll get you an answer as soon as possible.